like to thank Torah Anytime for bringing us Torah Anytime, anyplace, anywhere, to anyone. Press a like button, a share button, subscribe button, ring the bell button, some kind of button. Share this. Thank you to all of our followers for following and sharing and listening. Thank you so much and supporting. A couple weeks ago, I discussed the concept of a person who's, a couple times I've spoken about this with people who are upset about something. And I have a lot of clients, people, I don't want to call them patients. I don't like doing that, but I have a lot of clients in my, psychology practices that they're living, and it's like a lot of us. I don't know anybody who's not like this. It would be a miracle to find that, somebody would not be like this, but I want to share this concept. We have a grievance that happens to us. Something happens in our life and we're very upset about it. And as time goes on, we keep the grievance alive. We keep living it more and more. It's the only story I end up telling myself all the time. It's, in some ways, it helps me cope with life, because if I'm not successful with whatever I could have done, so I kind of blame it on this grievance that I have about, could be who knows what, a friend of mine that we were best friends. It could be a sibling. It could be a spouse. It could be a teacher. It could be a rav. It could be, there's so many people. It could be a mother-in-law, father-in-law. It could be whatever, a son-in-law, daughter-in-law. But we keep this grievance alive. We're upset at them for something, and it grows, and we're upset about more and more things. But as life goes on, we don't let go of it, and we use this. We blame this. I have, like I said, clients who are upset about a parent or parents, and that my parents caused that I shouldn't be successful. And I know I've worked with Rebbes and Rosh Hashivas and Rabbanim and all kinds of people. Also the same thing, who are upset about something. Could be a Rebbe that I'm upset with. I'm upset with my father that he wasn't stark enough with me, or I'm upset with my father that he was too stark with me, and they hang on to that, and this is the grievance that they have forever. So if I'm not successful in life, I can blame it. I do blame it, and I just keep perpetuating it. So I don't really change myself. I just keep blaming this grievance. I'll give you an example. My great-grandfather was a Rav in Cleveland. He was a Rav in a lot of places, big Talmid Chacham, and he did a lot of weddings and did everything. I have stacks of gittin, since I'm involved in gittin, so I have stacks of gittin that he did, that we use, and we're ayin in and learn a lot of halachas and practical things from all these gittin that he wrote, and that he was Masader. So anyway, one time, I like speaking to, now there are less people that are still around from the time when I'm named after him. So my great-grandfather, that means that's a while ago, if I'm named after him. So I asked people who still remember from those days, tell me something about my great-grandfather. So anyway, I was talking once with a couple, much older couple, and they tell me my great-grandfather did their wedding. He was the Masader of their wedding. So I said, "Oh, no, so tell me something about it. I mean, you don't have photos of him." They go, "Nah, we didn't. We were too poor. We didn't have any photos. We had nothing." And they tell me, "We were so poor." They said, "We can't really tell you so much about the wedding, but we could tell you about him. But we could tell you something happened at the wedding." So okay, I got the story from this. They said that at the wedding, they had nothing. They did the wedding literally in their backyard. They did it on their front yard, was the chuppah, and the neighbors came. Front yard, whatever you call front yard, is a little space of some grass, and they had holding up a talus with some sticks, and he was Masader, and they said, and then we went to the backyard. The neighbors came to the backyard, and we had corned beef sandwiches. That was the wedding. That was the Suda. And Suda was, there was some corned beef. He goes, and how much money? You think we had enough for a thick, gesundta corned beef sandwich? The real l'chaim sandwich, the thick one? Nah, yeah, like a couple pieces of corned beef on there. Between the two pieces of bread, you got more mustard, than you had, corned beef. So they said, so everybody got one corned beef sandwich. That's what you got. That was the thing. They said they go after they're cleaning up from the whole wedding, they're cleaning up inside, and they found between the cushions of the sofa 2 pieces of bread. That means that somebody took the corned beef from their sandwich and took it out and put it in another sandwich, so they had a thicker sandwich, and they ditched the bread. So that way they don't look like they're eating 2 sandwiches, and that way they don't look like, they're eating. They don't want to eat 2 thin sandwiches, mostly bread. They want more gesunte, corned beef. So they hid the bread in between the couch cushions. So they said, for years, the family would fight. Was it the Rosenthal family? Was it the 2 families? Was it Rosenthal's or was it the Levys? Back and forth. And they said, growing up, our kids and everybody used to always hear the fights between the uncles and it was Rosenthal. There was a Rosenthal that did this. And the other one say, no, it was a Levy because the Levys, you're a bunch of cheapskates and you're always taking advantage. This was the spiel for years. So they said that when they married off their first child, and by then they had really made it in life, they were able to have a normal wedding, with a suda and a shul and a hall or whatever it is. They said, but they wanted to relive that experience. So when they got their child married, they taka did it, the chuppah on the front lawn, and they served corned beef sandwiches. And they said they relived the experience for their child. Now, I guess their child went along with this. But, I think that's something a child would never forgive. But, and that would be the next grievance that would be caused. But, okay, they didn't get, they did this. They said, and after they cleaned up, they were cleaning up and they found between the sofa cushions, again, 2 pieces of bread. 25, 30 years later. From when their wedding was. Meaning to say somebody at this wedding had again done the same thing, the same culprit. And they said, but the uncle from the Levys was no longer alive. So they knew it had to be a Rosenthal. Now they said that's what they came up with. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the story you have to tell me about my great-grandfather? I didn't say this, but I was like, the Grace Zach, I asked maybe you tell me something from him, something they go, but what it did was this story, it wasn't even a joke because they took this very seriously, but it became like something that the family, fought back and forth over. Was it a Levy or a Rosenthal over the little corned beef sandwich? That's what upset them. And for years, they carried this for all these years, and they redid the wedding, 25 years later with their kid, doing the same thing, and then again with the bread, they couldn't let go. It was almost like played into itself. You wished it to happen, meaning to say you don't let go of the grievance. And I have so many clients who cannot they carry this grievance with them, and they can't move on, and they've never been successful. But whatever they blame, their anger, they blame it on that grievance that they're still upset about. It could be that friend, it could be that parent, it could be that whatever it is, and they don't let go of it. But it's very difficult to say, number one, just don't let go of it. But I think the biggest piece is they're not able to imagine what life could be without this. What could my life be if I would let go of this grievance? I'm not letting go that, I forgive the person necessarily. I mean, it would be great to forgive. But, when we spoke about this a couple days ago, the man who was in Vietnam, who, when he got out, he didn't want to be a killer anymore. And he said, the only way I could do this is by forgiving those people who tortured me. So, okay, if you can't forgive, it's very hard to forgive. I'm not going to say it comes so easily. To forgive is very, very, is like an angel, is divine. But at least try to imagine, what can my life be? They can't imagine. That's the problem. They are not able to imagine what would my life be if I didn't have this grievance. Let's say I let go of this and I could live my life and accomplish things that I'd want to accomplish, or I could even imagine accomplishing. But right now, I can't. I can't imagine anything else except for this grievance. So I just keep dumping and blaming whatever this is in my life on that grievance. There's a rule people say, typically you'd say, they don't rent space in my brain. They don't pay me enough that they own space in my brain, that I'm always thinking about them. And I'm not, people say this a lot. But in reality, is that a realistic statement? Oh, they don't rent space in my brain. Because as soon as I say it, I still go back and I still think about it. So I might say they don't rent space in my brain, but they still do rent space in my brain. And they're not renting space, it's true, but they own me. They they completely control me. Everything that goes on in my life is based on that grievance that I'm still angry about, I'm still upset about. I can't think of anything else. I'm just stuck. So how do we get out of this? It's a tough thing. First, we spoke about forgiving, and forgiving, that's, like I said, that would be divine. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgives us. Am I able to forgive? I mean, I'm not such a grace at tzaddik. When someone really, hurt me, that upset me or tore me down, that I forgive them. I still carry it, and I tell myself, no, they're not renting space in my brain. Actually, they're not renting space. I gave it to them for free, and it did cost me. It cost me my life. It didn't cost them anything, but I give it to them. I give them that space. I'm going to tell you an interesting thought. I heard somebody tell me, we were talking, and like I said, I have clients, they can't let go of anything. They can't. I have one of my clients, we've spoken about having the laundry that I told him to bring out to go do the laundry and bring the laundry. It's still sitting in his car for weeks, for months. It's still sitting there in big laundry baskets, and there's more of it, and it keeps growing, and that's in the house, and that he hasn't even brought out to go do the laundry. And it's so much laundry, he can't do it himself. So I told him, good, pay somebody to do the laundry. He can't even get to that. I'm literally going to have to walk with him to bring the laundry to some place to drop it off, force him to have somebody wash the laundry and fold it so he can pick it up, and then hopefully at least move forward. Somebody says, what's the point? Why should I do the laundry? What's the point? What's the benefit of doing the laundry? I have no life to live. Why would I do laundry when there's no reason to live? There's no reason to get up. I have no future. I have no purpose. I don't like the place I'm in. I don't like the situation. I don't like my car. I don't like anything. I don't like my food. I don't like nothing, because I'm just angry and I'm upset at that grievance, which I throw in that because I don't want to change anything. So, and I've told the many ideas and many eights, and it's very difficult to just like throw out ideas and even to try to walk them along. But I'll tell you a thought, and that is, I spoke about this before. We're talking about what's the difference between sheker and emes. And sheker really means, something that's not true, is the fact that it's not the purpose, it's not reality, it's not the real purpose, it's not the real mission, it's not a real value, it's just a distraction, it's fake, it's not real. And emes is the truth, that is the reality, that is the real purpose, whatever it is we're referring to. Now we say Torah is emes, Torah is the real value in this world. It's not all the distractions and all the chasing our tails and to get nowhere, because afterwards, let's say I saved up, and I dealt with a man once. I was tried to kill himself. He lost in just a short period of time $500 million, $500 million, and he tried killing himself 3 times, 3 suicide attempts. Very wealthy man, but you lose $500 million, God forbid, not on anybody. It was huge because that represented him. The truth is, he never could have spent $500 million. He just collected it. He had ranches, and he had all kinds of planes and helicopters and cars and all kinds of toys that he collected, and all kinds of collections and fancy watches. He couldn't have spent the $500 million that he lost anyway. He just had so much, it wasn't spendable. He'd have to buy so many things with it. Now, yeah, he could have bought more real estate, but he's not going to use it. It's just more things that he wouldn't get. But getting the $500 million value for himself, he wasn't going to get. No, we talked about this. And, he was very, very, my perspective was, number one, you'd still have, you were billionaires. That means you still have $500 million. Let's say you go spend that. No, I can't spend it. I said, what are you going to do? You keep it in the bank? Let's say you had $1 billion. what does it benefit you, the $1 billion? You drop dead, you kill yourself, you're gone. The $1 billion, what? You died and you had $1 billion, so you win something? Like, you don't believe in anything, so like, what's the purpose? I said, so you need purpose in your life. You have to have something. I said, but why don't you just look around at everything that you do have? You have a $500 million right now. Right now you have another half. You had $1 billion minus a half. You're still left with the other half. I said, you have a $500 million, $500 million. I said, do you know how many people would be dancing to switch their bank account with your bank account? Like, you know what? Oh, you only have $500 million. Good. Let's switch bank accounts. I said, do you know how many people in this world would do that? I said, the majority, 99 point, I don't know, 99% would be happy to switch their bank account with yours. I said, so you're trying to kill yourself over this. I said, when you live in a world that you have such amazing abundance around you, but you have no appreciation. I said, no appreciation for your wife, no appreciation for your children, no appreciation for your parents, no appreciation for your friends. You have no appreciation. All it is for that money that was in the bank that you don't have because, you lost it in the stock market. I said, but notice if at least notice some of the things that you're not angry at. Are you angry at your wife? You're angry at your kids? I said, notice those people. Notice that. You have some good in the world. I said, notice the sky, notice the sun, notice the ground, notice your leg, your hand. Notice the thing. You can't be angry at your hand. I said, you go banging your hand, you hurt it. I said, you're not going to do that. I said, notice the good things that you have, the 10 fingers, your nose that breathes, your mouth that speaks, your teeth that you have. I said, people just complain and complain and complain. Notice the good things that you do have. I'm not even talking about that it came from Hashem and God and you're appreciating. I said, just the fact that you do have things and don't be angry at them and you have stuff. You do have. I said, once you can do that, and you can notice some of the good things, then begin to start changing the story that you tell about yourself. Instead of speaking about the grievance, the anger, all of that, then at least you can change the story, forget about of your future, even of your past. Because even after all that, here I am with 10 fingers, with my children, with my wife, with my family, with my friends. I'm still here. I still have that. For that man, I told him, you're still alive with the $500 million. I said, that's the story. I know there's another part of the story that you can blame and you could be upset about. I said, but focus on the good stuff that you have, the things that you're not upset about, and let that start being the story. Let that begin the story of your life.